So, like, obviously we've talked about West Ham leaving Upton Park before, and West Ham fans are tiny kind of at this position now where they have to get on with it. And I spoke to Nicky from West Ham Fan TV, a part of the Bull Street Network, and he's kind of reached a position where he's like, well, what else can I do but just wait and see if this situation resolves itself, if the Olympic Stadium starts to feel like home. And it's such a difficult and unfortunate position to be in, where you're having to wait and see that your club is.
I know. I mean, look, it's a lot of clubs have changed stadiums and moved for different reasons. Some because they've kind of had to.
Yeah.
What you're hearing about Coventry having to go and share somewhere, and that lot's the other end of their spectrum.
Yeah. The Sisu stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's horrible. And I guess West Ham have got their reasons for what they're doing, but any transition in life, be that organisational change, be that moving house like I did the other week, it's difficult, and it's a process, and some people do that really well and some people not so well, and some people that are planning it can get it right and can get it wrong, and it seems that West Ham have gone through a West Ham, the old West Ham, the West Ham that I grew up admiring from afar and loving the culture of that club and the atmosphere that they'd create and the football that they'd try and play. It doesn't feel, what we're seeing doesn't seem to be in line with that identity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And sometimes when you're in the midst of that change, you can't really understand it, it don't feel right, but maybe it'll balance itself out in time, But
yeah, I think that's one of the things. Like, obviously Spurs and West Ham are rivals, but it's not difficult for me to say that. I feel sorry for them. I hate the fact that football fans have to go through this. But what would you do? Like, I'm putting this on you now. But what would you do if you how do Brady, Sullivan, and Gold? How do they fix this situation? Do they admit that obviously this is a problem? Is it that their egos won't let them come out and say, we know we've done some things that are incorrect? If you was the chairman,
well, I mean, it's tough, isn't it? Because do they care?
Yeah.
Do they care? Like, I suspect a lot of the time that people that run football clubs, they're running a business. Even those that are fans of that club or suggest that they're not, they're running a business, right? And they're probably governed by financial goals, ultimately.
Of course.
So what West Ham might be doing, because I think that when the Sullivan, that group, they were in charge of Birmingham City, right?
Yeah.
And I think when they got West Ham, probably it was quite cheaply.
Yeah.
And what they've probably done is by getting them towards the top of the Premier League, getting them into Europe, getting them a little bit noticed at this time, moving into a better stadium. I would expect that as foreign investment, let's look at the trend. How many football clubs have become owned by foreigners, be that Americans, be that people from Asia or the kind of Arab world? It wouldn't surprise me if their goals, given that they're all business people, their goals isn't for Nicky from West Ham Fan TV or from Bob, who's been in the area for how many years, to be happy. Their goal is to buy an asset, to make money out of that and sell it on for a multiple of X, Y, or Z, So ultimately, I would probably suspect that their goal is to sell that to someone from China, some nation where there's lots of money going into it, some American company, and to sell it for a load of cash. So
don't expect things to change.
All I'm saying is, are they going to come out? You've got to look at what they're actually trying to achieve and what their goals are, So I'm not sure that their goals are for West Ham fan base to be happy. I think that the big mistake that they make, or the mistake in thinking what they're motivated by, is to think that they give a fuck about that. I don't think they do. So if I were them, what I would be trying to do, or if I was in charge of West Ham, I would be wanting to connect with that fan base. And in terms of to do that, I think that you've probably got to come out and say, we've made mistakes. We live in a world now where actually we don't mind people saying they got it wrong. For a long time people wouldn't admit that. Fucking idiots. but we live in a world now, we don't mind people saying that they're wrong. We can accept that, we can forgive. Look at all the things that have been forgiven, the crimes that people have committed, the mistakes that people, we're a forgiving country. The world just moves on, right? We forget about things really quickly. You know, we'll talk about Muhammad Ali a bit later, but Muhammad Ali dies and we're all like, fuck man, Muhammad Ali for a weekend, we're looking at videos doing that, and then do you know what, we fucking move on fast. So we can get over things, right? But probably the thing that we can't forgive, the thing that we don't like, is when someone's actually trying to stitch us up or really pull the wool over our eyes. You know,
absolutely.
Someone's been dishonest with us. I think that's what we don't like. I think that what West Ham should do is, or what the board should do, is actually say, you know what, guys, we've fucked up. We really have. We've been moving. It's fucking quite a challenge to move from here to there. But here's what we're going to do to make it right. Here's this questionnaire. Here's this way for you to kind of have a feedback. We're going to have this consultation where we want to hear the worst of it, and then we're going to organise around these themes and really try and give you back this sense of the club.
It's communication, isn't it? I think it's such an easy thing to have some communication with the fans. And you know, I know West Ham Fan TV have had run-ins with the club, serious run-ins. You know, actual, sometimes kind of alarming conversations between the two, and but if you just, one of them just opens up, like someone from West Ham said, you know what, let's just sit down for an hour, just so you know, and these are the restrictions, these are the pressures we've got from the local council, these are the rules we have to, this is why we're telling you to sit down, this is why we're telling you to sit down, and then maybe a level understand, but it's just kind of like this they're being blackballed almost. You know, I don't know. It is a shame, and there will be some resolution, whether that be the fans kind of just acquiesce and
it's down to their motives, mate. I think there's a lot of football clubs ultimately don't care. They just they don't want fans to have a say. They don't want fans to create audiences like West Ham Fan T have got and use that mouthpiece. They want fans to turn up to the shop, buy the home kit when it's released. They want to buy the season tickets early to take up the early bird offer. If they get a cup tie, they want them to go. They want West Ham. They want their fan base to do everything they want them to do, but they don't want them to think for themselves. And this really is a microcosm of society. They don't want the masses to be thinking. They want the masses to be to be obsessed with things like Christmas. They don't want people to be educated about how to make money work for them in life. They want people to go and do a job and pay 50% of their tax to the government. And they don't want people to ask questions. They don't want that. They just want us to do what we're supposed to do as the masses, so that the people that are in control can continue to do what they want.
The irony here is that obviously sport is supposed to be kind of like the opium of the masses, to distract you from the bigger picture. And obviously that's fine, but then when the sport's fucking you as well, you kind of deep.
It's a deep subject.